Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons where we try and take a darker tone with everything we do. So if you like edgier kind of content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And a big thank you to our good friends over at Critical Failures. Check us out every Wednesday night at 9:30 to stream a game. They will start streaming another game as well on Monday nights. Check that out too. All those players are amazing. And without further ado, we're going to jump into this week's video. We're going to talk about the Vedalken. The Vedalken come to us from the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which is also the Magic the Gathering D&D crossover. You'll see a lot of the things are kind of interchangeable between them at that point, and their lore is tied together anyway. They are really unique looking. The Vedalken are tall and slender, standing almost a head taller than humans, but weighing about the same. And their hairless skin comes in a range of shades of blue. Their eyes are darker shades of blue or violet. They lack external ears. Their nose are broad and flat. And they are partially amphibious. They are a little weird looking. They're kind of very alien looking. Like if aliens and people really kind of interbred and a couple of generations went through, that's kind of what I imagine they look like. But Vedalken are very studious and lore-bound kind of people. They're great at researching and following histories and things like that. So you do get a very intelligent species with this one. They are just strange looking. Personally, I think they are a huge part of why the Simic hybrid exists, because it kind of just fits in. I might be just missing out on some lore about the Simic hybrid though, and maybe wrong, but they do seem like the kind of species that would perform experimental procedures on entities in order to change certain things, maybe enhance them, make them better, stronger, or whatever. You know, take that mad scientist route and that alien kind of route, and that kind of really fits in for my idea. For a Vedalken, you gotta be just so intelligent that you're detached from certain aspects of morality. And I think that's a wonderful place to be a Vedalken. I feel like they are they're very good to fit in that kind of a circumstance, but they are traditionally not evil. They usually are somewhere in between, and they are not chaotic usually. They're usually either lawful or neutral, and they really don't stand too far away from that, either neutral or good on either one. But chaotic isn't really in their wheelhouse. It's not kind of who they are. But again, I like playing evil characters, and I can't see a reason why you can't be an insane space scientist that goes to places and dissects everyone. But that all kind of depends on who you are. Usually they're about 6 to 6.5 feet tall. They weigh 200 pounds. They are just really tall and lanky. It's kind of strange. The first ability you get with the Vedalken is called Vedalken Dispassion. You have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. Wisdom is a very strong saving throw to have proficiency in. Nonetheless, advantage. Now, it's advantage, so it's kind of along the ways that the gnomes have, but if you have advantage, you have proficiency, you will pretty much make those depending on whatever you are. A lot of the times I've seen Vedalken, they almost always were wizards, so you do try to get a good opportunity to make up for that wisdom and that charisma in order to not be charmed and not be like held against your will by something like Hold Person. You also get Tireless Precision. You are proficient in one of the following skills of your choice: Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, or Sleight of Hand. You are also proficient with one tool of your choice. Whenever you make an ability check with the chosen skill or tool, roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the check's total. Now again, depending on what you choose, you want to choose something that you are going to have a bonus to. Don't pick history or investigation if you're not going to put some points into intelligence, and if you are, don't pick those from your class skill. pick some other stuff, and then take it from here. Because when you take it from here is when you get that ability. You can't just take it from anywhere and then pick it multiple times. The only thing that strikes me as strange in this is sleight of hand. If you're not evil, sleight of hand is kind of one of those things that I think you're usually pretty chaotic about. Because it's kind of an opportunistic thing, and there's usually repercussions for having to hide some sort of action that you're doing, or steal something or place something. Usually it's nefarious reasons or it's a necessity, but to have proficiency with it as an intelligent species that's usually not evil just kind of throws me a little. But again, you could be a good rogue and put stuff where it has to be sometimes. You do gain partially amphibious. By absorbing oxygen through your skin, you can breathe underwater for up to an hour. Once you've reached that limit, you can't use this trait again until you finish a long rest. This is super circumstantial, and that's just the way it is. There's going to be only a handful of times where you need to worry about going underwater. It's just not something you encounter a lot. If you're playing Ghosts of Salt Marsh, maybe this is definitely something along those lines, but there's a few things else I'd pick for that kind of a setting before I pick a Vedalken. But in a circumstance where you're, say, in a cave or a dungeon, yeah, you know what? If you have a whole bunch of Vedalken, you can have them in a pond or a lake there and just hide out there for a little bit and wait for that right moment and then pop out and do something. Surprise the enemy, whatever it is. You can be creative with it, but you have to be in the right situation to use it. But again, as a species ability, you do already gain tireless precision, which is great, and Vedalken dispassion. So not having another ability that's super, super useful is actually pretty great. One thing to note is you do not have dark vision. So this is, again, one of those races where you do need to provide a light source. So being smart about that is going to be imperative to your success because it's usually dark wherever it is you're going. Playing a character that has to be in the dark without dark vision is not hard, really. After you get used to just going, I turn on a torch, or I cast the light cantrip, or whatever it is, you get used to what that requires you to do. And you can go from there on however you want to do things. And remember, if you're, say, a sword and board fighter, or whatever, and you have to carry a torch, carry the torch. Keep your sword sheath. When combat comes out, drop the torch. The torch will still provide the same amount of light in that area based on the rules, and pull out your sword. Just stay roughly within that area. And if you have to move, pick it up. It's just going to cost you a little bit of movement. There is another version of the Vedalken, but I do not believe it to be anywhere near as good as the original, so I really don't cover it. It's from Planescape. Definitely look into it. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, but that's not something. It's not a setting you really encounter very often. But we will cover some of the species from it later. That being said, we're gonna bring this video to a close. If you've made it this far, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What you do for us is absolutely amazing, and we greatly appreciate everything. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description, as well as the link to our friends at Critical Failures. Check us out Wednesday nights. And definitely, if you've missed anything, check the backlog. They're all there, so you can have a lot of fun seeing kind of some of the environments and circumstances that we get into. That being said, thank you for giving a Spooky Kid a chance.